Good afternoon and welcome to yet another online tutorial on microwaves and antennas. So we are in module 4 and we were discussing about arrays of point sources, right? Arrays of point sources. So in first case, we have seen actually what arrays of two isotropic point sources. So we have seen 5 cases in that. Case 1 was same amplitude and phase, same amplitude but opposite phase, same amplitude, phase quadrature. Those were 3 cases. And fourth case, yesterday we have seen as a general case of first 1, 2, and 3 cases. That is same amplitude, but any arbitrary phase difference. We call the phase difference as delta. And fifth case was unequal sources. Amplitude was different, phase also was different. So we saw all those cases. So those 5 cases were about isotropic point sources, arrays of 2 isotropic point sources. Then after that, we extended the concept of array of isotropic point sources to array of 2 non-isotropic point sources. That led us to the concept of principle of pattern multiplication. Right. So what we have seen yesterday is if you have 2 non-isotropic sources, similar non-isotropic sources kept at some distance d, the resultant field due to that will be product of individual non-isotropic field pattern and the corresponding field pattern of 2 isotropic point sources. If the non-isotropic sources were replaced with isotropic sources, and if we can obtain the final field expression, you multiply that with individual array factor, that would have fetched you the resultant field. So we have seen 2-3 examples. One was actually what a cos phi pattern, one was a sin phi, and one more was a general case of unequal amplitude. So you already are familiar with that. So today we are going to study about a more general case. It's again right. So you can read this. Right. It's a very, very important topic as far as your exam is concerned. Right. So you can read it out. Right. So it is linear arrays, like linear arrays of n isotropic point sources. N. Right. So far we have been discussing about only 2. So in this case we have n sources. You can see sources 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. up to n. Right, n sources are there, and so those sources are having, you can see, they're of equal amplitude and spacing. You can see the amplitude given to all the sources 1 to n are same, that is V0, right? And spacing is also same. You can see separation is actually what d, separation between any 2 sources, right? Source 1 and source 2. Source 2 and 3, 3 and 4, all are d. So they have equal amplitude and phasing, but constant progressive phase difference. So when I say constant progressive phase difference, maybe I'll represent that using the term delta. Right? What does that mean? I'll tell. Right? I told they are n isotropic. Right? Isotropic. You know what is isotropic? Such n elements are there, and they are point sources. And they are linear. Linear array means they are arranged over actually what a straight line with equal spacing. That is a linear array. And they have same amplitude. So when I say if first source, right, I am assuming first source to be at origin. So this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. I am assuming first source to be at origin. So the magnitude is V0. Right. And second source is at a distance d. And I am giving it actually what? V0 angle delta, right? The phase is actually what? Phase difference is delta. This will be V0 angle 2 delta. This is V0 angle 3 delta. And similarly, the nth source, the excitation will be V0 angle n minus 1 times delta. So if you see the phase difference between any 2 adjacent sources, source 1 and 2, the phase difference is actually what? Delta. 2 and 3, phase difference is delta, right? So that is what is meant by constant progressive phase difference delta, right? So that is the case. That is what we are going to see, right? So we are assuming source 1 as phase reference, right? Source 1 is phase reference. We are assuming that. And you can see if you consider any 2 adjacent sources, source 1 and 2, right? If you are interested in a field at a distance r in direction phi, the path difference between adjacent sources will be d cos phi, right? The path difference between adjacent sources will be d cos phi, as we have shown yesterday, right? So the total phase difference between any two sources, any two adjacent sources, I'll write the total phase difference between any two adjacent sources can be written as 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta. It involves actually initial phase offset and also phase difference due to path difference, right? Or else I can write it as dr cos phi plus delta, right? So this is nothing but what? Phase difference between adjacent sources, right? Phase difference between adjacent sources. Right. Phase difference in the adjacent sources, radiation, right? Of radiation, right? Radiation, not the excitation difference. Delta is the phase difference between excitations, and psi is the total phase difference between the radiations at some distant point r in direction phi, right? So this is the case. So we have n isotropic sources, and source 1 is kept at origin and all other sources are kept at a distance d apart, right? And they are fed with same amplitude. They are fed with same amplitude, but constant progressive phase difference delta, and spacing is also uniform. So such an array is called uniform linear array, right? Such an array is called uniform linear array. And depending upon this phase difference between excitations, we can have two special cases. One is actually called broadside array. That will be actually what? If delta equal to a constant that is equal to 0, right? That is broadside array. And end-fire array will be actually what we'll see later. Delta is equal to minus dr. If delta is minus dr, that will give us end-fire array. So we will see at the end, we'll see what actually is that, right? So now what we have to do is we should find out what is the field expression, right? The general field expression in terms of phi and psi and all those steps we have to find. That is what we are going to do. So this is the system model. I'm not going to actually draw it again. You're familiar with this. So what we can assume is the adjacent radiation from adjacent sources, they have a phase difference of psi. It is because of the path difference d cos phi and also because of the progressive phase shift delta. So are you clear with what is the scenario we are going to deal with today? Are you clear with this? Please respond. Right. So if I may ask, Savan.
Yes, sir.
Right. So when I say next time when I say linear array of n isotropic point sources of equal amplitude and spacing and constant progressive phase difference, right, or uniform linear array, you know what is it, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. The math part is very, very easy, right? This is actually what crucial, understanding this, right? So now what are we going to do is we are going to find out a general expression, right? How we have done for the other array of two isotropic point sources, we are going to find out a general expression. Then later on, actually, what we'll come to this and note, right? Now, if I show these things, you may be wondering what are these. I'm not able to appreciate this, but no problem. We'll define the derive the array factor, right? We'll derive the array factor, right? So we'll derive, for this case, we'll derive array factor or field expression, right? You know what is array factor, right? Array factor is nothing but what? Normalized field pattern. I think this much would be fine. Field expression we are going to right. So for that, again, this is y-axis, this is x-axis. My sources are kept along x-axis, right? Sources are kept along x-axis, right? This is x-axis, or phi equal to 0, right? And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. up to actually what? N sources are there. The separation between them is d. Separation between them is d, right? And they are fed, right? You know, this is V0, V0 angle delta, V0 angle 2 delta, V0 angle 3 delta, and so on and so forth. V0 angle n delta. There is constant progressive phase shift. So if you consider field in the direction phi at a distance r, right, the adjacent sources will have some phase difference, path difference given by d cos phi. We know that. We already know that. We don't have to do it again. So the adjacent source radiation, right, radiation from adjacent sources will have phase difference psi equal to I can straight away write dr cos phi plus delta, and you have to remember this dr is nothing but what, 2 pi by lambda times d. This dr is nothing but what, 2 pi by lambda times d. We know that, right? And if you see, the field due to source 2 will be advanced to that of actually what, source 1 by an amount psi. So I can write here, right, E1 is actually what, source reference, right? E1 is E naught. This is source reference. E1 is E naught, that is source reference. And for convenience, we'll assume this E naught to be equal to 0, or magnitude of this field pattern at some distance r by all sources, that is equal to 1, right? We'll assume that, right? Or else now itself I told we shouldn't have, right? We could have done it at some later point of time as well. So when I am plotting the phases or the vectors, right? So this is E1, its magnitude is E naught, right? And for E2, you can see E2 will be E naught e power j psi. E2 will be advanced. So I can draw E2 here like this, right? E2, this is E2, right? Its magnitude is E naught, but it is advanced by an amount psi with respect to the reference. And similarly, E3 will be advanced by an amount, right? E3 will be, this is E3, its magnitude is E naught, but it is advanced with respect to E2 by an amount psi, right? So if I place, right, if I can use polynomial law of vector addition or phasor addition, polynomial law of vector or phasor addition, right? And similarly, E4 will be advanced, right? When I say advanced, I should measure in anti-clockwise, right, by an amount psi. This is E4. All have same magnitude, E naught itself, and we'll be assuming E naught to be equal to actually what, 1, right? And similarly, E5, right? If suppose, right, we are assuming only 5 sources, or in general n sources, right? It is having an amount psi. So this is E5, right? So the resultant field will be actually what? To get the resultant field, what I should do is I should join the tail of first vector and tip of the last vector by polynomial law of vector addition. So if I draw this, right, this is a resultant E, right? And this resultant E will make some angle zeta, right? I'll call this angle zeta, right, with respect to phase reference. Say, we have to find out what is this and also what is this. This is what we have to find out, right? So we can write from this E naught, E1 is equal to E naught, E2 is equal to E naught e power j psi, right? And E3 will be actually what? With respect to E1, it will be advanced by an amount 2j psi, right? E3 will be E naught e power j times 2 psi, right? And E4 is equal to E naught e power j 3 psi, so on and so forth. And what will be En in general? Can anyone tell me what will be En? En will be E naught e power j, whether it is n psi or n minus 1 psi. Please tell me.
N minus 1.
It has to be n minus 1 psi, right? It is n minus 1 times psi. So this is E1, etc. up to En. So we are assuming there are n such sources. Now I can find out the resultant. Easily I can find out, right? E is equal to E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus etc. up to En. So that is equal to, E is equal to E naught plus E naught e power j psi plus E naught e power j times 2 psi plus etc. plus E naught e power j n minus 1 times psi. Right. So this E naught I can take common out, and E naught I'm assuming, right, for convenience we assumed E naught to be equal to 1. All sources have unit magnitude, radiation from all sources have unit magnitude at some distance r. That's what we are assuming, right? That's for our convenience. If that E naught is there, also not a problem, but we are assuming that E naught to be equal to 1. So I can write, assuming E naught to be equal to 1, right, I can write this is 1 plus e power j psi plus e power j times 2 psi plus etc. plus e power j times n minus 1 times psi. So I'm calling it equation number 1. Please remember our psi is nothing but what? 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta, or I can write dr cos phi plus delta, right? This is our psi. Please do remember that. I'm not substituting for psi now, right? So this is equation number 1. Now, if you see this, it looks like a geometric progression, right? With first term equal to 1 and common ratio e power j psi, right? Whatever it is, but I need to find the expression of E in terms of sine or cos. That is my intention. For that, what I am doing is I am using some trick. I am multiplying equation number 1 with e power j psi, right? Both LHS and RHS of equation number 1, I am multiplying with e power j psi, which implies E times e power j psi, it will be equal to, I have to multiply with e power j psi, each and every term on right hand side. So 1 will become e power j psi, 1 into e power j psi is e power j psi, e power j psi into e power j psi will be e power j 2 psi, e power j 2 psi plus e power j 2 psi into j psi will be e power j 3 psi, right, plus etc. up to finally e power j n minus 1 into psi times j psi will become e power j n psi. I am calling it equation number 2, right? I have two equations now, equation number 1 and equation number 2, right? So we are doing all this struggle just to obtain the expression in terms of sine or cosine at the end. Why? Because we are interested in that. We don't want to deal with complex exponentials, right? That's not our cup of tea, right? We are comfortable with trigonometric functions, right? That's why we want to do that. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to subtract 1 from 2, right? I am going to subtract 1 from 2. What I'll get? E power j psi minus E, it will be equal to, but if what will happen to the right hand side? You see, there is an e power j psi here, e power j psi here, right? It will get cancelled. E power j 2 psi, e power j 2 psi will get cancelled. E power j 3 psi, j 3 psi will get cancelled. And e power j n minus 1 psi and e power j n minus 1 psi will get cancelled. So what will be left out is only this 1 as well as this e power j n psi. Remaining everything will be cancelled out, right? So what will happen is e power j n psi minus 1. This is what we have. So if I rearrange this, I'll get E times e power j psi minus 1 is equal to e power j n psi minus 1, right? So what I'll call it equation number 3. So from 3, I can straight away write what is equation what is E. We need to find out this E. This is what we have to find out, right? Both magnitude and phase. This E we are expecting we'll get something like this, mod E angle zeta. Something, this E will be nothing but what? It's a phasor or a vector. It will have magnitude and actually what a phase, right? Direction, it is already known. That's right. So you can see it as a phasor, right? Phasor. So this is what we have to find out, right? So we can write E is equal to, E can be written as e power j n psi minus 1 divided by e power j psi minus 1, right? So this is our E. I'll call it equation number 4, but this is not yet in terms of sine and cosine. I need to express it in terms of sine and cosine. So for that, I'm going to make the following substitutions, right? So what are the substitutions, right? Substitute in 4 the following thing. What are the substitutions I'm going to make, right? So in right, I'm going to write 1 as actually what? E power j n psi by 2 times e power minus j n psi by 2 in the numerator. In the numerator, there is a 1. I am going to substitute it as e power j n psi by 2 times e power minus j n psi by 2. And e power j n psi, I am going to substitute. We have done similar thing when we discuss the case 1 in a different approach. By keeping source 1 at origin, we have done the same thing, right? But I'm just extending it to what? Same thing to numerator and denominator. That's it, right? So e power j n psi can be written as e power. Sorry. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Actually, my OneNote, it got restart. Okay, fine. Now the screen is visible. No, right?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll share the screen once again. Somehow my OneNote got restarted. That's why. Right. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Great. So there is a numerator, 1 in numerator. I'm going to substitute it like this, and there is an e power j n psi in numerator. I'm going to substitute it like e power j n psi by 2 into e power j n psi by 2. Right. Again in numerator, and in denominator there is a 1. In denominator 1, I'll be substituting it as e power j psi by 2 into e power minus j psi by 2. Right. And e power j psi, I'll be substituting it as, right, in denominator. Right. E power j psi. I don't have to write this, but again, right, if at least if anyone has any confusion, I'm writing it. That's it, right? You don't have to write these steps and all. Right. E power j psi by 2 into e power j psi by 2. So these substitutions you have to make in equation number 4. These substitutions are what you have to make, so that finally we hope we'll be able to what? Bring it in to sine or cosine form. So I can write E is equal to e power j n psi. I should write as e power j n psi by 2 e power j n psi by 2 minus e power j n psi by 2 times e power minus j n psi by 2, that is 1, all divided by e power j psi by 2 times e power j psi by 2 minus e power j psi by 2 into e power minus j psi by 2. Right. If so we have done similar thing when we did solve the case 1 in a different way. Right. So you know this. So now I can take e power j n psi by 2 common out in numerator. Right. This is common in numerator and this is common in denominator. Right. Then I can rewrite it. Right. So I can write it as e power j n psi by 2 divided by e power j psi by 2. These things are common in numerator. Then I can write here e power j n psi by 2 minus e power minus j n psi by 2. So e power j n psi by 2 minus e power minus j n psi by 2. Right. Then divided by e power j psi by 2 minus e power minus j psi by 2. So if I multiply and divide with a 2j, right? If I multiply with a 2j and divide with a 2j, right? So you know sine theta can be expressed as e power j theta minus e power minus j theta divided by 2j. So this numerator by 2j will become sine n psi by 2, and denominator by 2j will become actually what? Sine psi by 2. So I can rewrite it as, right? So I can rewrite it as, please stop me if you have any confusion. This entire thing, right? This will be sine of n psi by 2, and similarly this thing, right? This thing will be, right? It's in denominator, right? It will be 1 by sine of psi by 2, right? 1 by sine of psi by 2. So I can rewrite it. Right? I can rewrite it. Right. E can be written as E is equal to, I'll write sine n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2 times, you can see here there is an e power j n psi by 2 divided by e power j psi by 2. What will be that? Can I write it as e power j n minus 1 into psi by 2? This can I write like this? E power,
Yes, sir.
right? So we can write like that. I don't have to explain that, right? So that is why, because this e power j psi by 2, if it goes to numerator, it will become e power minus j psi by 2. E power j n psi by 2 times e power minus j psi by 2 will be the difference, right? Plus and minus. So n minus 1 psi by 2. So this is the general expression for field due to n isotropic point sources. You can see it's of the form r e power j theta, right? So where this r will be magnitude, and whatever is the argument of e power j, that will be phase, right? R e power j theta. So this is nothing but what? R zeta, right? This is nothing but what? R zeta, and this will be nothing but R magnitude of E, right? We were expecting that, right? Mode of this is magnitude, and this is phase, right? This is magnitude and this is phase. So now I can write, right? But again and again, I'm just making you people remember, psi is equal to dr cos phi plus delta. This we didn't substitute, right? We have to substitute it, right? The psi is equal to dr cos phi plus delta. So now I can write the magnitude pattern, right? The magnitude pattern mode of E, and normally we'll write it as E only, right? Magnitude we'll write it as E only, right? Actually, if it is a phasor or vector, I should write it in bold case or put an arrow on top. It is vector. I'm not doing that, right? Please, right? Understand, unless otherwise specified. If I write E, we are interested in the phase pattern. Magnitude pattern, right? So magnitude pattern is equal to sine n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2. So this is the magnitude pattern. This is a magnitude pattern. Now my question is this normalized pattern? Is this normalized? It's my question. That is, the maximum value of this is equal to 1 or what? Whether the maximum value of this is 1. That is my question. Right? You can answer it later. You can think it through. Right? So this is a magnitude pattern, and the phase pattern. Normally we are not much interested in phase pattern, right? Why? Because depending upon the point which we are taking as phase reference, the phase pattern will change, right? It's up to our convenience, right? But even then, right, phase pattern, right? Angle of E, we'll write it as actually what? Zeta. That is equal to n minus 1 times psi by 2. That is phase pattern. This is phase pattern. So this is the field expression for array of n isotropic point source with equal amplitude and spacing, but with constant progressive phase difference, right? So this is a field expression. But my question is, what is the maximum value of sine n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2? Whether its maximum is 1. So I'll give you option. It's a question, right? Whether the maximum value of this, right? Is it equal to 1? B, is it less than 1? Or C, it can be greater than or equal to 1. Yeah. Maximum value of this. Maximum value of sine n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2. You can type it in chat window. You don't have to actually calculate it, right? If you want to find the maximum value, what you should do is you should actually what? Differentiate, right? Differentiate. This is a function of psi, right? So you should differentiate it with respect to psi, and whenever you are getting 0, right? And when you take the second derivative, if it is going to negative, you will get to know it is actually what? The maximum value, right? So you will get values of psi for which it gives maximum. Then you substitute that, you will get the maximum value. That's, you don't have to do those things, right? But even then, at least guess, right, whether it is the maximum value is 1 or not. Sine something divided by sine something. What is the maximum value? Option A, B, C. Sherwin told 1, Savan told 1. Any other answer? But wrong. Right. The maximum value of this is not equal to 1. Right. So it's not equal to 1. In fact, the maximum value will be equal to n. Right. The maximum value will be equal to n. That's what I'm going to tell now. Right. So the maximum of mode of sine n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2, this will be equal to n, right? This will be equal to n, right? And this will happen for psi is equal to 0. This will happen for psi is equal to 0 for any value of d, whatever be the value of d, right? Whatever be the value of separation, if psi is, whenever the psi is equal to 0, psi is equal to 0 in the sense, right? Psi is equal to 0 in the sense, psi equal to 0 implies dr cos phi plus delta is equal to 0. That is the meaning. Right, maximum will occur, right? So please do keep this in mind. This is very important point, right? This sine n psi by 2 by sine psi by 2, maximum will happen for psi is equal to 0, right? Maximum will happen for psi is equal to 0. That is please do register that now itself, right? Maximum will happen for psi is equal to 0, which means, right? But if you substitute psi equal to 0 in this, can you substitute psi equal to 0? What is the value? Sine 0 by sine 0. Sine 0 by sine 0, it is not defined, right? So you should find out the limit psi tending to 0 mode of sine n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2. This will be equal to n. It is very easy. I'll just give it as a homework. What you should do is initially when you put the limit, if it is 0 by 0 form or indeterminate, you should use what is that? How will you pronounce it? Pronounce this L'Hospital's rule or L'Hospital's rule, whatever, right? I used to tell L'Hospital's rule, right? Correct me if I am wrong, right? So you apply this, you differentiate numerator and denominator with respect to psi, then again apply the limit, then you will get this, right? You will get this. So you can, it's not actually what a great deal. We don't have to do this. If you remember this, that would be more than sufficient. But if you apply this limit, right, and you will get that. So what my question was, whether this magnitude pattern is normalized. It's not normalized. It is not normalized. Its maximum is not equal to 1, but it is equal to n. So what will be the normalized pattern or array factor? Right. So array factor, right? It's, on other words, we can call it as actually what? Normalized field pattern. Array factor same as actually what? Normalized field pattern. Array factor or normalized field pattern, right? That will be, I can write it as En, right? I can write it as En is equal to 1 by n. This is n is maximum value, so I should divide it with n. 1 by n sine n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2, right? So this is the array factor. So if in exam they ask you to derive the array factor, right? If you write only sine n psi by 2 by sine psi by 2, right, you may not get full marks, right? You should divide it with n, right? Why? Because maximum value of sine n psi by 2 by sine psi by 2 happens when psi equal to 0 and that is equal to n. Where n is, what is n actually? What is n, Savan?
Number of those sources.
Number of sources. In fact, if you remember, right, we assumed E naught equal to 1, right? If E naught was not equal to 1, it would have been n E naught, which means if you have n isotropic point sources separated by some distance d, excited with same amplitude but constant progressive phase difference, right? In some direction, you will get maxima. Wherever psi equal to 0, we don't know what will be the corresponding phi, right? Wherever psi equal to 0, you will get maxima, and that maxima will be equal to n times E naught, n times the magnitude of individual radiators, right? That is the meaning, right? So if maybe I can write that as well here. If E naught was not equal to 1, right, it would have been n E naught, right? It would have been n E naught, right? If you just go up and see how the steps came, there would have been an E naught, right? We omitted an E naught, right? So that is what is array factor, right? So now this function, right, it's a function of psi. So if you know psi, right, again I'm again and again writing psi. Why? Because that's very, very important. That is 2 pi by lambda times d cos phi plus delta, or dr cos phi plus delta, right? So this is psi. So if you know psi, right, if you know psi as a function of phi and delta, right, if you already know that, then please see this diagram, right? Then please see this diagram. From this universal field pattern chart for arrays, from this you can find out the field pattern, right? It's very simple. It's nothing but what? Plot of array factor is nothing but what? 1 by n times sine of mode of sine of n psi by 2 divided by sine psi by 2 versus plus or minus psi. You can see psi 0 to 180 and again 180 to actually what? 360. It's reverse. So psi is nothing but what? Dr cos phi plus delta. So if you know psi as a function of phi, right, then from this you can find out what is the array factor. So for n equal to 1, if it is only one source, right, you can see this is the pattern. And for n equal to 2, if it is n equal to 1, it will be constant. For n equal to 1, this is the pattern, right? That is constant. That will be equal to E naught alone, right? For n equal to 2, right, this is the pattern, right? N equal to 3, n equal to 4, 5, right? 6. So you can see as number of elements increases, the side lobes are increasing, right? If it is only one source, this is the pattern. If there are two sources, the pattern will be something like this. We have seen that, right? If there are 3 sources, right, the pattern will be this. If there are 4 sources, the pattern will be like this. I'll not today, tomorrow I'll show you simulation, GeoGebra simulation, then you will be able to appreciate. So the same thing which is in polar form, here it is represented as actually what? In Cartesian form. So along x-axis we have angle 0 to 180 and reverse 0 to minus 180, right? Or yeah, so that is here, right? And this is our array factor. And as it is normalized, the maximum is 1. If it was not normalized, the maximum would have been n. If it was not normalized, the maximum would have been n, right? So this is universal field pattern chart for arrays of various numbers, right? And you don't have to remember this and all. You don't have to remember this. No one will ask you, right, to draw this. At least in case if it is asked, what you should remember is, if n equal to 1, it will be like this. It will be a constant. In Cartesian, it will be a constant, right? In polar, it's a sphere or a circle. Cartesian, it will be a constant. For n equal to 2, right? For n equal to 2, pattern will be like this, right? There will be only one maxima and one null, right? Maxima and null, right? And if you see only, right? And if n is equal to 3, the pattern will be like this. There will be actually what? 1, 2, 3 lobes on one side and two nulls, right? There will be n minus 1 nulls, right? So that is the case, right? So normally they never used to ask this for exam. In case if it is asked, you should be able to actually what approximately draw, right? Approximately you should be able to draw this, right? Maybe while discussing problem, we'll be able to I'll be able to give you, right, an idea where null will come, right, where maxima will come, and all those steps, right? So this is one thing, right? So are you okay with this? Is it clear? Are you
Sir,
getting-
for E naught, that is when n equal to 1, is that horizontal line? Just horizontal line.
just a horizontal line? Yes, it's actually what
It's not
for,
highlighted. That's
right? Okay. I'll highlight it. I'll tell how it comes, right? It's that horizontal line. Why? Because in polar, right, for phi equal to, so if I'm plotting a graph, phi equal to 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, right, and 2 pi, right? For all values, for n equal to 1, right? For n equal to 1, it will be everywhere, it will be E naught, E naught, E naught, E naught, E naught. So when you plot it, actually what, for phi equal to 0, it will be E naught. If I normalize it, it will be equal to actually what, 1. If I normalize it, it will be equal to 1, right? So it will be, right, a straight line in Cartesian. Are you getting it, Savan?
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Right.
Okay.
So normally we'll plot in polar, but I told radiation pattern can also be plotted in Cartesian, right? So, right, I hope you got this.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, yeah. So for n equal to 1, that is a horizontal line, right? But it's not this darkened in the textbook, right? But it's understood, right? Using our logic, we'll be right. So that is what is this. Right now, I should tell you about two different cases. I told we have two different cases. One is actually what, broadside array, and other one is end-fire array. I'll introduce you to broadside array and end-fire array, and we'll conclude today's session. Right. So, sorry. Yeah. All of you can see my screen?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
All of you can see the screen, right? Okay. Now, okay. Yeah. So now I'll introduce you to broadside and end-fire array. I told this term actually when we discuss. I told case 1, it was a broadside array. Case 2, it was an end-fire array. I don't know whether you might have noticed, right? Whatever, right? So in this case, right, we have arrays like this, right? So this is our x-axis, that is phi equal to 0, and this is y-axis, right? Sources are arranged like this. Sources are arranged like this, right? And separation is D, right? Sources are arranged along x-axis, right? So now broadside array, in this setup, broadside array means maximum happens in broadside direction. Broadside direction, right? In this case, broadside is actually what? Phi equal to 90 degree. So if pattern maximum happens actually what? In phi equal to 90 degree and 270 degree, right? So this is called a broadside array, right? So maximum happens for phi equal to 90 degree, right? Phi equal to 90 degree. If you arrange antenna along x-axis, if you arrange antenna along y-axis, don't tell I should get maximum along phi equal to 90 degree. Then it will be phi equal to 0 degree, right? So, but in this case, I'm telling, right, maximum happens for phi equal to 90 degree, right? But we know the condition for maxima is actually what? Condition for maxima is actually what? Psi equal to 0, right? I told this. I told it's very, so many very important, right? So psi equal to 0, that is dr cos phi plus delta equal to 0. This is the condition for maximum, right? So if maxima should happen, if phi has to be, right, or if maxima should occur at phi equal to 90 degree, right? So if I'm calling it equation number A implies dr cos of 90 degree plus delta is equal to 0, right? This cos of 90 is nothing but what? 0. So this is 0. So 0 plus delta to be equal to 0, which implies this delta has to be 0. That is the condition for broadside array, right? I told initially itself, right? Delta equal to 0, that will be broadside array. At that time, you didn't know what is that, but now I hope you are able to appreciate this. That is the condition for broadside array, right? Which means you should, right, feed everything with V0 angle 0, V0 angle 0, V0 angle 0, right? Everything should be in phase, or it need not always be 0. It can be any common phase, right? That is broadside array. And similarly, end fire array, right? And similarly, I can write end fire array. End fire array. What should happen is, right, if array is arranged along actually what x-axis, that is phi equal to 0, the radiation maximum should happen along phi equal to 0, right? So for end fire array, radiation maximum along end fire direction, right? So in this case, it is actually what? Phi equal to 0, 180, right? In this case, right, radiation maximum should occur along end fire direction, right? That is end fire array. So the condition is actually what? The condition is psi equal to 0, which implies dr cos phi plus delta is equal to 0. And but phi is actually what? 0 degree, right? Phi should be 0 degree. If I have to get maximum along 0 degree, phi is 0 degree. So I can write dr cos 0 plus delta is equal to 0. So this cos 0 is actually what? 1. So which implies dr plus delta is equal to 0, which implies for end fire array, delta is equal to minus dr. Delta is equal to minus dr. So it depends upon spacing, where dr, if you remember, it is 2 pi by lambda times d, right? Suppose this spacing is lambda by 4. Example, right? If d is equal to lambda by 4, right? Condition for end fire is, condition for that array to be end fire is, you should excite, right? You should excite first source V0, second source V0 angle some delta, right? V0 angle minus dr. This third source V0 angle minus 2 dr, and so forth. So that is delta should be equal to 2 pi by minus of 2 pi by lambda times lambda by 4, that is minus pi by 2, right? So source 1, 2, 3, source 1, if it is angle 0, source 2 should be actually what? V0 angle minus pi by 2. It should be 90 degree retarded, right? And second one should be 90 degree retarded with respect to 2. So it is V0 angle minus pi, right? This should be V0 angle minus 3 pi by 2, right? That is the meaning. If you give like that, of course, you will get radiation maxima along phi equal to 0 and phi equal to 180. So this is actually what? Condition for end fire, right? For end fire array, right? End fire array, delta equal to minus dr, where dr is 2 pi by lambda times d. It depends upon the separation. Depending upon the separation, we should change the constant progressive phase shift, right? That is what we have to do, right? So that's all I have to discuss today. If any doubt, already it's exactly 1 o'clock, right? So if any doubt, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll wind up tomorrow, right? Before that, I'll just show you a typical examples of, right, end fire and broadside array. For n equal to 4, right? For n equal to 4, right? N equal to 4 and separation of lambda by 2. This is our typical broadside array will look like. And for n equal to 4 and separation lambda by 2, this is our typical end fire array will look like. These examples tomorrow we'll solve. These are the phase patterns, right? We are not interested in the phase pattern, but again, I'll tell you tomorrow how to draw the phase pattern as well. So till then, till there you will have actually for exam, right? So in exam, they may either ask you to derive expression or they may give a case. 4 isotropic point sources form a broadside array. Broadside means you should understand delta equal to 0, right? Broadside means you should understand delta equal to 0, right? End fire means you should understand delta equal to minus dr, right? So in this case, if d equal to lambda by 2, you can calculate that, right? So that's what. And as I told, right, if you see one side, right, if it n is equal to 4, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4 lobes, right, on one side, right, and 1, 2, 3 minimas, right. So we will see that. We see all those things. So thank you so much for your patient listening, right. If any doubt, you can stay back and ask. Otherwise, you can leave, right. But before that, before you leave, just type in whether you understood something, right, what we have discussed today. This is very, 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 very important, right? Very, very important as far as your university exam or internal exam or anything is concerned. 8.5 is okay. It's a good score, right? So then what is that remaining 1.5? Where do you have a little bit lack of clarity, Savan? Now that you have told.
No, sir. I think I have to watch. Like I have watched, like I have listened. Still, I think if I watch again, it will be more clear. Like few points only.
Okay, whether I was going too fast or too slow, or is it
Not-
okay?
Not too fast, but it was fast. Like comparatively, it was fast.
Comparatively.
And we are using textbook PDF, like those copies. So you couldn't write down. That's it.
Okay, okay. But I'll just make it available, right? This transcript I'll make available. You don't have to bother. Even if you put it- right? I'll make this available, right? So any other issues? Right. So you could have asked me to slow down a bit, right?
No,
Normally.
sir, it's okay.